Hi everybody, I'm Lizette Barton and I'm the reference archivist here at the Cummings Center. And I'd like to talk to you today about an object from our artifacts collection that's from one of my favorite psychologists whose papers we have here at the center, Walter R. Miles. So the artifact I'd like to talk about are these goggles. So they're actually B-8 flying goggles, World War II era. So what does that have to do with psychology and Miles? And I'd like to read from a book called Psychology for the Fighting Man. And this was published in 1943 by the National Research Council, and a ton of psychologists collaborated on it, including Walter Miles. So I'll read a little bit from here, and it will tell you a little bit about what the deal is with these goggles. So chapter 3 is called Seeing in the Dark. Modern war is often war at night, and that means that men must learn to see in the dark and to use their eyes in new and unfamiliar ways. So the fighting man needs to know how to make the best use of his eyes at night, whether his job puts him in an airplane, a tank, a ship, driving a truck, or just getting about on his own 2 feet. You can't make a man into an owl or a cat, but you can let him have rules and aids that will give him just enough edge on the enemy so he can get in the first shot. So, according to this book, there is no better way to get the eyes dark adapted than to work in deep red light. Remember that pure red light has almost no effect on the rod cells of your night eyes. So if a deep red light is available, you can read or work, if you have to, and still be dark adapting to your night eyes. So the research that Miles did, kind of based what came to this, is that he used different lenses in these goggles to try to help airmen as they waited before they would fly. So what they found was that the red goggles and the red light is what helped them adapt to night vision the quickest. So he did lots of trials with different colored lenses. Red works the best. And I'll read one more section from here. The night fighter must train for his job as a boxer trains for the big match. The boxer who is not at the peak of training is likely to be knocked out, and the night fighter whose eyes are not at the peak of efficiency is likely to be killed. So the airmen would wear these goggles whether they were in the planes or not. The lenses would be attached to the outside, and then once they got in their planes, they would keep them on and they would keep the night vision. They could also remove them, and that would help them adapt much faster to the darkness. So that's Walter Miles, night vision, and red lenses and goggles.